better. So what we're going to do is go through some of the artifacts and kind of explain the thinking behind these. So some of these, if you've been here before, you've definitely seen these, but maybe haven't been explained kind of the thinking behind them. So this is our kind of our what we call the dance floor. It has changed since any of you have been here, because I literally just put up the last editions on Friday. But the purpose of this is actually I'm gonna have Chris Osborne kind of weigh in on this. Oz, what is the purpose of this destination guide, as we call it, and how does it help us get to truth faster?
Good morning. Yeah, the guide itself. Let's take a step back. So the dance floor is kind of a hub for all of our most pertinent information or important information. So there's a handful of components that you see there. There's some things we're playing with. So all the little cards you see are all our policies, all our thinking models, all the things that we kind of take for granted, and just like that photo, have a lot of assumptions about till we actually see it. These are the photos on the wall that will kind of communicate those things to everybody in the same way. The destination guide itself, there in the middle, its main purpose is pretty much how it sounds. It's about destinations, and to start with, the most important part being the center, which is where we want to go and who do we want to be. So as a company, we want to shine light wherever we can, and really shine light through the growth of individuals or groups, not necessarily about furniture or product. I think a lot of times companies put their values on the wall. You see a lot of truth, trust, teamwork, all those kinds of things on the wall, and they kind of become dead. Our hope with some of these things is that through constant things like this and teaching and explaining, that we keep these things alive and that we understand them, and we start to actually believe them or decide not to believe them and maybe exit out. So it's super clear as to where the company's going. The second major part of that would be destinations, probably as individuals. So you see, this is basically our org chart. So the top half is people from the shop floor, mainly the people who actually put hands on product. And then the bottom half would be more like there you have finance, you have HR, office of president, and general manager. And this is mainly, it came about to as kind of a subway map of growth, to try to have conversations with individuals, to ask them really what they want to do and where they want to go, and try to find a pathway or a subway map that fits who they are and their gifts, and try to get them there in little bits. The other part that, go ahead, Tuck.
Oh, just to mention, if you have any questions at any times, people just, we can't see you, so if you just unmute and start talking, we'll
go for it.
Answer questions and flow. So these are the content cards you're talking about. So we'll have them kind of more built out. Right now we just did paper just to get quick and dirty up on the wall so we can have a conversation. But at some point they'll look something more similar to this nice tangible card that has some teaching on both sides. But that's kind of the direction we decided to go on that guy. And then you're gonna probably talk about this next, the kata stuff.
Yeah, kata map is new to us. Kata in general is new to us. I'm not, Tucker can talk about kata probably more than I can. The main thing is this replaces our old business plan. So really the center is where the whole company is trying to go. And then each one of those bigger chunks with a little face by it is a section. And those sections have challenges also that align up to the bigger challenge. So this is trying to pull aligned growth through the company through a tool called Kata. And Tuck, you can talk maybe a minute about Kata.
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times before, but if you want more detail, it'd probably be better served over some virtual coffee. But basically the idea is to identify big mountain that's kind of scary, which is that central challenge right there in the middle. Like cutting lead time of all value-added activities by 75% is through implementing flow principles. So we're specific on how. That's kind of scary for most of our team members. And so taking that big challenge, dividing it into five smaller challenges for each of the sections, and then each of the departments within that section has a part to own in that. So now instead of having a Hoshin goal kind of planning that has several disconnected challenges, we basically say there's one strategy, going back to what I drew before I erased it. But one strategy of, if we all cut our lead time of design and how we build and how we integrate into our systems, then we're going to have a brighter future here. But it's all now working together, and imperfectly, I would add as well, but it's also part of the journey. So really neat. And then clicking down a layer further, so that was all kind of purpose related stuff. This is our current yearboard, and we were just, Kelly and Oz and I were just talking before this, that we're going to be making some changes to this one because we're not entirely happy with it. But each department has a year-to-date status, and this measures the important things on the wall for every department. So finance, purchasing, production, all measuring the top 3 things, so that every month we can actually know the status of truth, little bits at a time. So instead of looking at a financial report at the end of the year, we know every month where our financial situation is at. And it kind of brings about quicker action to truth, whereas, having a lot of lag time in any of those metrics could be very costly for us. So that's our yearboard. It has an owner, and that person is kind of responsible for these metrics. So if one goes red, like I have one red metric, which is our labor metric in the framing department, I'm responsible. Doesn't mean I caused it. Doesn't mean my ass is on the line or anything like that. It just means that I now have to look into it and try to figure out how to get back towards the green. The next layer down is our today board. So this is our kind of updated daily instead of updated monthly like the last one. And so this one has a date, the previous day, and then the current day, and kind of their capacity, which is the green, yellow, red on the side there. So you see the vertical long yellow strip. That means that IT feels like they're maybe overloaded with work, which, knowing that team right now, they have a couple projects open right now that are super important for the success of the business, and it's a lot of work. So I'm not surprised that they're yellow today, which doesn't mean that you can't bug them or anything like that. It just means that they're at risk for not getting everything done and meeting their commitments. And then there is a space for issues. So on the 25th of November, so this one's getting a little long on the tooth. Crew seating, pack slip printing issues. So there was some issue with that. It's yellow, which means they have a plan to get through it, but it's not solved yet, which would mean it would be green. And there's a today's fix in there. So basically they have a combination of 2 software programs that's getting them through till tomorrow, but it's definitely not ideal. So that's our today board, updated by the owner of that area daily. So this is our kind of, if you look at the dance floor is kind of to the right, this is looking at the entire shop. And the reason why I wanted to show this is that you can't really see it, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it, but you can kind of zoom in. I see 1 red beer cup and about 3 yellows and a bunch of green ones. So that's what I'm going to talk about next. That is the beer cup part of the process. And I'm going to stop sharing so that you can actually see this. So we have beer cups. This communicates right now status. So we have today, which is daily, with year, which is kind of monthly, yearly status. This is right now, and it especially in production, changes every few minutes. There's a change in the beer cup. Green means that they have everything that they need in terms of material. They're not running into any issues. They're able to build it in a timely manner, like to the time that was estimated. They're not running into any problems. Yellow means that they are behind, but they have a plan. So in the administrative world, like Kelly and Oz and myself working, for us, it's more of a gut feeling of like, I kind of feel yellow, which means that like I'm at risk if I get interrupted with a bunch of issues. I might not get everything done. And then red is I won't get everything done and I need help. So the cool thing is that this is kind of like a Toyota. They have their and-on lights. This is just a very cheap version of that. But basically, if we run into any problems, like this should be red, it should be escalated to the leader manager, and something should be done about that. And then the cool thing is, it gets paired with this workstation sign thing, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. So there's this is mine, a lovely photo back when I wore glasses for a week. So on this, it says who the person is here with the name, their title, and all their kind of main responsibilities, and the department that they work in. So I'm in the general manager department. And then it has these pull out signs. So green means that this person's available. So if I'm working at my desk and it looks like this, green and green, anyone can kind of interrupt kind of how I interrupt me and ask me questions. If I go like this and I go red door, this would kind of say, kind of go away. I'm busy. And out means I'm out for the day. And back at means like maybe I'm out on vacation or something like that. And so this tool has existed in some form for a while, but the other method was a little bit more arts and crafts and less like beautiful piece of art, where this is like kind of fun to use. Like you get kind of a dopamine hit by like moving the doors and stuff like that. And this kind of communicates our values a little bit better, because it's like this person, they have their own like kind of placard. It has like a nice tangible feel to it. So that's kind of why we went in that direction.